I'm now going to demonstrate what it is to take a sketch and transfer it onto the gessoed panel for egg tempera. Here's my sketch, which fits the panel. Flip it over, use some dry pastel. This is a very basic, simple technique from kindergarten to make a transfer. Important to tape it. Good not to lean your arm on your surface. So this is the technique of using a maul stick. So you can lean your hand not on the actual surface. I'm going over it with a ballpoint pen over my outline. And I'll just pick it up for a moment to see if it's working. I chose a very neutral gray so that it won't get in the way of the color of the egg tempera. It leaves the tiniest little line. Perfect. Perfect. Good choice of color. So. You can make corrections on your drawing as you're tracing. So in this case, I'm going to give this figure a sleeve. Should be all that I need. Maybe I'll do this. So there's my transfer. Done. Good enough. This now is very, very faintly, you can see that this is the sketch for this watercolor. And you can see how loose it all is. And now I'm gonna paint it with egg tempera. Here's an example of two boards that have the beginning of an ink underpainting. And as I was saying, it's good if the board is thick, because here's an example of a board that warped. It's too thin, and the glue, when it dried, tightened the board up, and now you see from the shadows on the table that the board's warped. Not so good. Traditionally, egg tempera started off with an underpainting done with ink. And what we do is we make a number of variations of light to dark. Here's a very light one. Just a little darker, perfect. And then this one. A little bit big. The jump is a little big. I'll add a little water. So we go from light to dark to build up an underpainting. Here we have head, curls. And this is how egg tempera traditionally is used. However, I don't use egg underpainting. I don't use this ink underpainting, but I think it's important that you should realize that that's how the values are established. It's quite seductive. And as you can see, the brush just is absorbed completely because of the beautiful, beautiful gesso. And traditionally, again, in egg tempera with the underpainting in ink, it was worked up with cross-hatching. And cross-hatching is these little tiny, tiny strokes that build up slowly to dark. Here's, I see, the eye. I can faintly, very faintly see the transfer drawing here underneath. It's good to have a brush that's thin, but that has a little spring in it. Tiny little brush strokes. And that's what's going on in the book here. We see Sultan, the artist, showing us a black and white drawing, a black and white ink drawing, tonal drawing of these very simple objects, building up the darks very carefully so there's light and dark and shadow. And all of that is the traditional underpainting for an egg tempera painting.